bearing with us with this technical difficulty. Now, why are we here? Democracy cannot succeed unless those who express their choice are prepared to choose wisely. The real safeguard of democracy, therefore, is education. And this is a comment by Eleanor Roosevelt. The reason why I put this here is because in Girl Scouting that we have what's called the democratic process. The democratic process really makes us unique in many ways because our members have the opportunity to vote and to influence voting as well as to create proposals that we're going to be talking about and to express their opinion on change. As you are aware, and I'm going to cough a minute, and I'm so sorry, I have this horrible cold. Who are the delegates? What is your role? Issues that might surface at meetings. What are next steps for membership delegates? I just wanted to talk a little bit about infrastructure. Now, I know all of you all know this, and that is that as Girl Scouts of the USA, there are 112 Girl Scout councils. 112 Girl Scout councils actually implement the democratic process so that we are all headed in the same direction. There's only one council that I'm aware of that is having difficulty kind of updating their democratic process, but I know that everybody is comfortable that they will be on board by the time of the national convention that's going to be held in Columbus next year. I just wanted, everybody is always asking, you know, Barbara, Mona, what is our GSNEO membership? We are 39,000 strong, and that includes girls as well as adults. This is horrible. We have 129 service units, and we have 2,400 troops throughout our 8-county jurisdiction. We are really pleased to announce that 44% of membership delegates are actually girls. Now that is just really exciting. Just wanted to show you this really unclear and fuzzy map on our service units so that, let me just say, all of us are sick here, sitting in this room. You know, so we're going to apologize in advance if we're going to continue to cough, so that you can see, as I'm pointing, that you can see how we are organized by service units. Now, this here is just, it's something that we use because if I need information about a service unit, that I just want to be able to know what CME that actually has that service unit. Decision influencing. The decision influencing aspect provides access to council's decision making, and it really helps to engage our members in this whole process when it's appropriate. That at any time, members have the right to talk about whatever their issues may be. We have a system where they can actually discuss it, bring it forth, and make sure that they are heard, and that is through you all, because you all are the decision influencers as the membership delegates. All registered Girl Scout members, girls and adults, are a part of the decision influencing system. They can talk to you, and I know they're going to just talk your ears off once you get out to the service units. Council staff, civic and community leaders, and local, state, and federal government officials are also included. Membership delegates are elected by the members to serve as their voting representatives in matters related to the governance of Girl Scouts of Northeast Ohio. These are elected positions. You, as a membership delegate, you are elected. That our members are 39,000 strong, that they entrust this responsibility not only of sharing information as received from the council leadership, and we're going to look at communication, and then taking this information and communicating it to other girls and adults. We always ask that you have to keep an open mind as you gather some things. I know the biggest hot topic issue is, oh my gosh, that this is happening. It's like, I want to be clear that as a part of GSUSA, because we're chartered by GSUSA, that means that we are obligated. Think of a charter, think of a council as a franchise, that we have to abide by the guidelines of the franchise, that we promote, we understand the issues and concerns, that we have to keep that open mind and understand it, and don't hesitate to raise questions at all. We serve as membership delegates, and I use the royal we because I'm always communicating back and forth, and that's that two-way communication between members and council leadership. We promote, and I put this here intentionally, GSUSA/GSNEO program, services, and goals to the community at large. Most recently, your CEO, your COO, and your CFO that were at a national meeting, and at that national meeting last week, as well as fund development, and at that national meeting, it was made very clear that we cannot get creative with the mission, because some councils had, added a word here and there, that we cannot be creative with our value proposition, because this is GSUSA. And that when we have a charter review, this is something that is really looked for as a part of our charter. It's like, hold it, and they go through our materials. That they call me the brand police around the organization, and it's turned into like, oh my gosh, does she need to see it first? Well, yes, until I'm comfortable that we're all on the same page, that yes, I do have to see it, because that's what GSUSA expects us to protect. When we're up for charter review, they look at our materials. They see what goes out. They know how our brand is being used on this. I put this slide here just to take a look at that this green area. I don't know if you can see my arrow here. This is the membership delegate position that you can see that voting membership. So the members will be voting you all in officially on April 9th. And then the membership, you can see that now goes to the membership delegates. You represent membership in electing board development committee, and national delegates. You receive training related to governance, votes on governance issues, serves as info conduit between council leadership and the membership. I think I'm going to redo this later on and kind of move some of this coughing out of this before I put it online. But one of the things that it's up to you, you all to be able to, sometimes you just have to take the material as you have. Don't try to summarize it. I always say take the data straight, but ask questions on what you're looking at. Then you see the board to the left hand of the screen. The board sets direction, provides oversight, hires CEO, ensures that the mission, resources, and organizational accountability is there. The CEO hires, appoints, and manages staff and operational volunteers, assures delivery of program services, partners with board on strategy. The CEO has the ultimate responsibility of employing and hiring and firing employed staff. That's her job. Now, that even with me, you're probably wondering, but you're the COO, Barbara, and, you know, half the organization reports to you. It's like, yes, they do. I can only make those recommendations to the CEO. That is her or his responsibility. That is her responsibility. That's Jane's responsibility. Our operational volunteers, they deliver the Girl Scout leadership experience programs and services. That's the role. Sometimes that we all kind of get confused. You know, staff came to me with an issue a couple of weeks ago, and I said, that's a board decision. That's a board issue. That as we look at the updating some of our volunteer policies, that is something that the board has to vote on. But you know what? You're going to have a chance to see those volunteer policies, too, before it goes to board, so that you can also have input on that. Circles of communication. And this is just really central. Decision influencing system. The delegates present information in service unit and or leader meetings or any other meetings, and we'll get to that a little later on. The delegate shares input and feedback received from its members with staff liaison. And that governance box that you all send things to, that it's myself and Mona, that we are in that box every day. We're seeing your questions. And by golly, if we're not getting back to you fast enough, that we want you to pick up that phone and call us and say, you didn't get back to me on that. And we have to, we don't have to do it, we want to do it, because that's important to us. You all are very important to us. It's very important to us that you are serving in this critical volunteer role as a membership delegate. The staff's responsibility is only to compile the information from the delegates. And ours is only to compile it, that we make sure, and then once we compile it, we send it back to you all. And not that you change the to the, and the, and dot the I and the T. We want to make sure that the concept remains intact and that everybody is comfortable with that. And then it goes to the board. Composition. You as delegates, you serve a 2-year term. That what we do is some of your terms are staggered. And some terms are staggered. We don't want everybody leaving their terms at the same time. We don't want that erosion. So that we want to make sure that we maintain a balance, so that some have rotated off already, and then some of you all are new. But your term is for 2 years. Membership delegates are selected at the service unit. If the membership delegate elected by the service unit is a girl, then the service unit shall be entitled to elect a second membership delegate. That the only criteria is we can't have 2 adults. We can have 2 girls, but we cannot have 2 adults. And we can also have, thank you, Mona, as a girl and an adult as well. But it's really important that we have that balance and that voice. Membership delegates are nominated and elected directly by the girl over age 14, because that's in our bylaws, and adult members of GSNEO. Issues that might become decision items for council board meetings. Okay. You know, I always think of one when I was in a council in Michigan, and the casinos were, you know, I know this is a horrible example, but the casinos were just coming into being, and that the casino said, you know, Girl Scouts of Mitten Bay, that we're going to give you some money. That here, take $10,000 on that. And it's like, hold it. What does that mean to us as an organization? And remember when they were first coming in, they didn't have their fund development arm. They didn't have their grants program set up. They just wanted to give money. And the board voted not to accept money from the casino. The board also voted not to accept money from Anheuser-Busch, the beer company. So, sometimes future funding can land in your lap, but we just wanted to be sure that it's like, no, there was a whole vote. And you know what? It went to the membership. Back in those days that we had association meetings, and that we took it out to the membership, and the membership voted, and there were pros and cons. Members were like, well, that's money. We can do more programming for girls. And after there was discussion, just like you have the discussions and the debates, that it was determined that we would not accept money. Years later, the casinos, and this is like very recent, the casinos and Anheuser-Busch, they now have grant programs, and they have adopted that none of their funding basically would be used. If they gave you a grant, that it is clear that you do, they're giving it in the spirit of community and not trying to influence you to buy the beer or anything. Okay, newly adopted or modified corporate goals. We went through strategic learning or strategic planning about 3 years ago. And we will be going through another cycle at the beginning of 2017. Okay. Most recently, GSUSA, Girl Scouts of the USA, that's what the GSUSA means, and I am so sorry. I always encourage all of us to be, I call it bilingual, to some of our new folks. It's like, what does that mean? It's like Girl Scouts of the USA. Girl Scouts of the USA just presented us with some new initiatives. And the new initiatives that we will be embracing, that how we implement them will be in what is most appropriate for our Girl Scout Council. And through that, that's how we will be developing our new strategic plan. Potential jurisdiction alteration. And jurisdiction is like our council area. That you'll see in some of the materials, it's called the jurisdiction, but our council area. That when I was with, this is just so funny, that when I was with Girl Scouts in northern Michigan, that one of the other councils, they basically said that, hey, we will trade you Mackinac Island. You give us Mackinac Island. I don't know how many of you all know about Mackinac Island. Oh my gosh, is it amazing there. And it's in Michigan, and the girls have this, they have their honor guard, and they do the fort for 2 weeks, and they live there on the island, and they serve as docents to the fort. In the flag ceremony, people stop and take pictures. But they were like, it's like, you have to be kidding me. And they were very serious. And the board and the members, but I had to bring it to our membership, and they said, absolutely not. They cannot have Mackinac Island because we use those waterways for programming, and it was critical. Anybody could use it for programming. We didn't mind at all. But it was just that, nope, we were not going to give up Mackinac. So that's just examples of potential jurisdiction alteration. And then the strategic planning input that I hope many of you all will be involved as we develop our new strategic plan, that it's not absolutely necessary because it's going to come to all of you all anyway. It's going to come to all of you all anyway. But, that I just really think it's important that you see the process, experience the process, and then put forth the recommendations. I talked a little bit about this. But membership, you're responsible for maintaining consistent communication with your service unit. Now, I always say that I put here attending service unit leaders meeting as needed. You don't have to go to every meeting at all, not at all. That I think it's important that you check in, and we're going to talk a little bit about that a little later on. That just I think that it's important to go to the next one to let them know who you are, you know, and help them to understand your role, and that if anyone wants me to join them at that meeting, I'm available. I just hope it won't be the same night or evening, and I'm good. But it's to talk about your role and how you will be coming to them for their valuable input. Information on what to discuss will be provided to the delegates. You'll know. You'll have a sense of that. You can contact GSNEL immediately if you are unable to fulfill the responsibility of the position. We know things happen. Oh my gosh, that as Mona and I were almost bedridden, that she crawled out of her bed today, and I'm plowing through this, coughing and everything else. But it's that we want to make sure we have a responsibility to you, and we want to make sure that we honor our responsibility and you honor yours as a membership delegate. It's very important. Now, there's another position in the council, and it is called a national delegate. The national delegate, they have the responsibility of attending the national convention, and then they have a responsibility for also seeing what the proposals will be, and then bringing the proposals back to the membership, and then also that getting even more input, because, and I'm going to, let me see if there's a typical proposal here, because, no. National Convention proposal, I'll go back to the other page, that this is an example of a National Council proposal. This was done in 2014 as we were about to go to Utah. That I wanted to make sure I included this one because this was a proposal that was initiated, came through the membership delegates, passed on to the board, passed on to the national delegates, and this this proposal was submitted. And I'll read the fine print: Girl Scout membership level for pre-K, age 4 years and older, girls. And it didn't receive enough support to be included on the floor at the convention, because there's a whole process that if we put forth a proposal, then X number of councils would have to support it, and we did not get the support to have this on the floor. And now I've heard rumblings about this, because when I started in Girl Scouting, and I'm sure most of you all too, that we did not have the DAISY program on that. And so, you know, but now we have daisies, and that's a huge membership increase for us. I'm going to go back to this, and you can see where our board chair, that she had to sign this. Joan put her Joan Hancock on the line on this one, and then it was shipped, it was forwarded to GSUSA. I'm going to go back to the other. I got to pull it back up. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, okay, I am going to go to the next. Okay, we talked about communication, composition, future funding for the council. newly adopted or modified corporate goals, GSUSA initiatives, strategic planning, national delegate, schedule of upcoming activities and events. Now, I'm going to start at the bottom. Oh, this is so important. That all proposals to GSUSA, to their national board, all the proposals to the national board must be postmarked by September 30th because they need time to package them. They need time to see if there are any proposals that will be supported, and that then they will need time to, for the ones that are supported, to get them out to councils to study. Oh my gosh, it's a whole lot of study even going to the national convention. It's a part of that. Now, I'm going to start at the top. The March 15th, here we are with our orientation, and this is just the Cliff Note version. You know, that April 9th, there's the annual meeting of the General Assembly. And then that's where you all will be officially elected to your positions. Now, I know some of you all can't make it there, but your name is on the slate, and that you all will be elected, and that you will receive information in the portal about, you know, all of everything that was done, minutes, everything at the General Assembly will be in the portal. In April, I would like to host a joint meeting of the National Council delegates and membership delegates. And I put to be determined. Okay, April, no later than the very 1st of June. I'm sorry, May. June and July, that I don't have the events from our event calendar just yet. I included April 11th through 13th, Adult Learning Experience. That's a large forum of adult volunteers that come to that meeting. That would be a great opportunity to ask for time on that agenda to talk about, you know, that, hey, you know, that this is my job, this is what we're doing, and this is we'd like your input. You know, are there any high-level governance issues that you would like to bring forth to the board, and to get their feedback on that. September, that usually there's a GSNEO board meeting in September, and at that time there will be a presentation of any proposals that will be going to GSUSA, to the national board, and the board has to vote to send those proposals on, and then they have to be postmarked by the 30th. Let me go back up. In the meantime, I know some of your service units aren't meeting during the month. Most of you all are meeting during the month of June, even if it's to do a closeout. That I would encourage you to attend the service units. And then in July, that I know there are a couple of other events. I also know that what I didn't put on here is the Cadet Summit. Oh my gosh, that's a big one for girls, and that would be an excellent opportunity to meet. If one of our delegates, if you're attending the Cadet Summit, then that would be a great opportunity to get feedback from girls, just in terms of that whole, you know, what's top of your mind? What's important to you? By the way, we also have 2 girl members that sit as a board, as a part of the board of directors on that. So, and I put these here just to kind of outline there are other opportunities to get feedback on this before I go on. Okay, we talked about the convention. Now I'm going to be open for, I'm going to open up the box, key in any questions that you may have into the question box. Okay, we have a question. Okay, can that proposal be brought up again for pre-K? It certainly can. There's no reason why you can't do that. Thank you, Kayla. That was a great question. One of the things that if it comes up again, now remember that it still has to go through the whole process of even if it were advanced by our board, that if it was advanced by our board, that they would still need the required support to move forward on that. That's a great piece on that. Okay, Jennifer Fitzsimmons, did the webinar discontinue? I don't think so, because I'm seeing so many questions pop in that we can touch base later, and then definitely we are noting these questions, and again the recording will be available, and I'm going to re-record so I'm not coughing, but I'll have to remember to keep my jokes in there. Okay. Okay. Membership delegates were already elected by their service units. Board members and board development will be elected at the meeting. Thank you, Brenda, for that clarification. Yes. That I'm going to repeat the question one more time, that you all as membership delegates were already elected at your service units, and the board members and board development will be elected at the meeting. So, Brenda, if I hear this accurately, really the membership delegates, the members will be electing, the new board. Right. And the board development committee members as well. What is the dress code for the General Assembly? Business casual, uniform for girls. Uniform, I always say, is always appropriate, that there is no question about it. And, uniform, sash, khaki pants for our girls, white shirt, that it is always acceptable. Is the August 11 through 13 meeting mandatory? Absolutely not. No, June. That's a great question. None of these meetings are mandatory. That somebody just might want to attend. That if you can't, that maybe somebody else will can be available to attend. I'm just putting out dates where there are opportunities for people to get input from groups that are already meeting. Kim Perry, do delegates play a role at the convention? If so, what is it? The national delegates play a huge role at that convention, and that's why we want to have a joint meeting of the national delegates, and then to hear their story in their own words at that meeting. As a delegate, can I go to girl Olivia? Tell me again. As a delegate, can I go to troop meetings and get feedback? I think troop meetings with older girls, that's just fine. Troop leaders have meetings, and that would be an excellent opportunity to go to the troop leader meetings. That's a part of that. Great questions. What can we expect at the meeting on the 9th? That, Brenda, can I open up the mic? Okay, I'm going to open up your mic. Let me find you. Brenda Heidinger. Brenda, I am so sorry. No disrespect. I'm going to blame it all on the cold right now. I'm going to open up your mic. Okay. I'm going to unmute you. Brenda, would you like to mention what the membership delegates can expect at the meeting on the 9th? Brenda is our current board chair, So you're getting it on high authority.
Thank you, Barbara. Can everybody hear me? Is that okay?
We can hear you just fine.
Okay, wonderful. At the annual meeting coming up, you can expect to get some reports from the council leadership on things that are going on. We will look to you as membership delegates to vote on the slate of board members, board development committee members, as well as any feedback. Everybody should have received their call to meeting packet that Mona so graciously puts together for us, and it lists the actual agenda of the day, but the main job that you're doing that day is electing those new board members and the new board development committee members for the next set of terms. And this year you will also be electing board officers.
Other questions? Other questions? Oh, I know you all need to think about this first. Yes, you will. Will we get to actually meet the board members? Yeah. Yes. It's very important that you get to know them, and they get to know you as well. Okay. How often will we have member delegate meetings? Now, thank you very much, Kara. You led right into my biggest question. When we meet as, because I'd like to lay out those meetings, that when we meet with the National Council delegates, that would you all prefer a face-to-face, raise your hand, how many would, or a webinar, raise your hand for face-to-face. Now I just want to warn you, hands are going up. Okay, I'm counting the hands. And I know some of you all are doubling up, 9, okay? Hands down. I took them all down. How many would like to meet with that joint meeting via webinar? And the webinar, I have to warn you, that webinar is going to be about, even with face-to-face, that it's going to be about 3 hours. Now we can break it up, you know. We can break it up, and it'll be just fantastic. But okay, I'm seeing hands up. The majority of you all went webinar. Okay. Okay. I'm putting the hands down. Okay. So that what we will do is for April, that you thinking on issue raised by leaders that warrants a GSNEO response at a service unit meeting, we should bring that to Barbara or Mona's. Yes, absolutely. But I prefer for you to put it in writing so that I'm clear on the issue. How's that? So that I can be prepared to respond to that. Absolutely. Don't hesitate to share that number. Now, I know April is a tough time. Oh, geez. Okay. Hands up for I tell you what, we could either do 2 evenings for an hour and a half, or 1 Saturday or an evening for 3 hours. I'm going to put the poll out there. I tell you what, you're going to receive the poll tomorrow on that. And that way, with some proposed dates, and then get back to us, and we will do that. I would say that member delegate meetings, I anticipate at least 3 meetings of this group. I really do. Just in my experience, that we need that time because we go into depth in terms of that whole process and that voting process. Okay. Is there anywhere where we could find more information on the candidates? Now, other than what's in your packet, that don't hesitate to, Google them, I guess, LinkedIn on that, or I think those are the best options if you need more on that. Because what we did was certainly that we have the full resumes on them, but we captured the highlights as the summaries were built. Let me just say that in my Girl Scout lifetime, which is really long, this is truly just the Board Development Committee just did an amazing job on this slate this year. Thank you. Did I get to everyone? Tricia Burns, you haven't received the packet. Okay, then we'll check our list one more time. Did you get an email? Did you get an email? Okay, Tricia Burns, we'll check that out and get back to you. Olivia Johnson, is there a membership delegate for all 129 service units? If not, how many are there in total? We were just tallying that up earlier today, that because there were some moving pieces here on that one. We can definitely let everybody know by, I'd say, by Friday. But no, we're so sad that there aren't 129 delegates represented in the service unit. Okay. So we have Tricia's question about the packet. We're going to check the list. That will let you know exactly how many service units are represented, and that we will send a poll on the best time to meet and to do that. Are there any other questions? Any other questions for this orientation? And remember that our 3-hour session is going to, I'll time it out. I'll time it out. But I still plan for 3 hours, and then let me work on timing it out. Because certainly that I should have more information from GSUSA, Girl Scouts of the USA, shortly as well. Okay. Are there any parting questions? Anything for the good and welfare? Then, yes. Email the governance email, or should I contact, email the governance email, because when I look at all, I don't want it to get lost in my email. That's the only reason why I'm saying use the governance email address, because, oh my gosh, our GSNEO email boxes can get full, but that one we know is really contained on that. All right. Well, I want to say thank you very much for joining us this evening. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate your patience as we really worked through this. The email address is governance@gsneo.org. I see one more. How long is the term for the officials that we will be electing April 9th? 2 years. Are the girl delegates required to wear their vests at the meeting? I just think it's so nice because I love looking at how lovely you are. And there will be photo ops as well. I may photo, what is it, selfie? What do you call those things when you jump in the middle?
Photobomb?
I may photobomb some people, but yeah, I think that the girls would be. And I you know, thanks for the comments about me being ill. You know, Mona is too, you know, and we're afraid we're going to get it done. Anna, who is also sitting here as well, learning about this process, but I'm going to try to edit the coughing out at least. Okay. All right. Well, for the good and welfare, you still have, oh my gosh, that we didn't really go over time. So that it is 7:02, and I declare our meeting adjourned. Don't hesitate to keep those questions coming. I will definitely make sure that you get this slide deck, and it may have some additions to it, like the Cadet Summit on that. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. And anybody that has not voted and eligible to vote, that you have 25 minutes. Yes, you will get further information through email that we have a list of all of you all, and that we can just push out any emails or blasts to you all to get that done. How's that? Okay. Thank you. My cold feels better. Oh my gosh, please let me be on the downside of this. Okay. Have a good evening. And again, thank you so much. Goodbye.